The old woman. A young woman was walking home alone at midnight. It was after a long workday on a summer evening. You might ask, why so late and alone? Because that was her schedule at the cozy cafe where she worked, in a small, quiet town. As they say, she stayed until the last customer left. For this woman, it had become routine, and she was almost not afraid anymore. All she had to do was run from the bus stop to her house. She walked quickly, her heels clacking loudly against the pavement, down a deserted alley lined with low maple trees, like a dark corridor. Occasionally, a lonely street lamp cast a brief glow. She was lost in thought when, suddenly, in one of these patches of light, she saw a human silhouette, and fear struck her. Please don't let it be a maniac, she thought. As she got closer, she saw that it was an old woman, thin, hunched, like Baba Yaga, dressed in black, with a black headscarf from under which white hair poked out. The crone stood motionless under the street lamp, her eyes darting around. She stared at the young woman so intently that, for a moment, the girl thought the old woman's eyes were glowing. Strange. What is this old lady doing out here so late at night? The woman wondered as she hurried home. An eerie feeling crept up her spine. She was getting closer to the place where the old woman stood and decided to walk around her. Just don't start talking to me, she thought, noticing how grotesque the woman's face was. But the crone suddenly sprang to life and started walking toward her. The street was empty, dead silent. Limping, the old woman rushed at the young girl and grabbed her arm with cold, bony fingers. A shiver ran through the woman's body, and goosebumps covered her skin. "Take me home," the old woman rasped, staring into the young woman's eyes with her glowing gaze. She started pulling her forcefully. The woman froze in shock, unsure of what to do. Wait, Grandma. Tell me first, where do you live? Where do you need to go? How did you end up here?" "Take me home," she kept repeating, her fingers digging into the young woman's arm. "Where do you live? Just tell me," the girl stammered, frightened, not wanting to go anywhere. She looked around, hoping for help. "I'll show you. Over there," the crone muttered, dragging her toward the end of the dark street. The woman looked ahead. Beyond the alley was an empty lot, and past that, a cemetery. But she was lucky. Two police officers turned the corner, patrolling the area. "Thank God, I'll let the cops deal with her. Let them take her wherever she needs to go," she thought. She just wanted to get home as soon as possible and forget this nightmare. "Officers, over here!" the woman shouted. The police turned toward her. "Why did you call them?" the old woman rasped angrily. "They'll take you home. That's their job. But I'm in a hurry." The crone let go of her arm as the officers approached. "What's going on?" one of them asked, shining a flashlight in her face. "This old woman seems lost. She asked me to take her home, but I don't know where she lives. Can you help her?" The woman shielded her eyes from the blinding light. The officers exchanged confused glances. "What old woman? Are you messing with us?" one of them asked. The woman turned around, but there was no one there. The crone had vanished. She looked down at her arm, where the old woman had grabbed her. There was a bruise in the shape of bony fingers. "But she was right here, just now," she whispered. The officers shone their flashlights around the empty lot. Far away, they spotted the old woman. She was standing still, muttering something under her breath, shaking her fist at them. They ran toward her, but before they could reach her, she darted into the bushes. By the time they got there, she was gone. The woman didn't wait around. She rushed toward her apartment building, her heart pounding. She wanted to be home, to feel safe. She saw her building in the distance, just a few more steps to the entrance. And then, out of the darkness, the same old woman stepped into her path. "I told you to take me home," she hissed. "Leave me alone. I'm not taking you anywhere," the woman screamed. The crone lunged at her, clawed fingers reaching for her throat. But the woman shoved her away and ran for the entrance. She bolted into the building, leaped into the elevator, and jammed the button for her floor. When she reached her apartment, she pounded on the door. Her husband opened it, and she rushed inside, breathless. She told him everything. He held her, trying to calm her down. She was shaking. Then he told her something that made her blood run cold. People had seen an old woman just like that, on the cemetery grounds at night, crawling on all fours among the graves, moaning. And her eyes glowed in the dark.